Future Metro album dropped. Everybody has beef now, I guess. We're gonna make a tutorial on the beats on that album, so yeah, let's just get into it. I fucking recorded everything and then realized the audio wasn't recording, so I'm kind of mad. So I'm just gonna break down a finished beat instead. So unfortunately, you guys didn't get to see me make the beat, but it's pretty simple. It's a dark trap beat, 144 BPM, D minor is what we started, and I think I pitched it up to D sharp minor after, but always somewhere around that range, you know, D minor, 140, 150, even 130 is good. So this is the first sound, is this piano. There's a lot of pianos on this album, but for that future Metro sound, you want to use like a lot of dark bells, ambient stuff, pads, and then occasional pianos, but I noticed there's a few piano tracks on this album, so that's why I started with it, and this is what it sounds like. When it comes to these kind of like dark trap beats, you have your first melody, and then after that you're basically done. Everything else is just kind of layers of the same like melodies. So first off, we're in D minor. Always want to make sure your scale highlighting's on. So you go here, view, scale highlighting, select whatever scale you want to use. Doesn't really matter. I see somewhere around from like C to D sharp is good for these beats, and then minor is good. Or if you want like the extra spooky sound, it's somewhere on here. Yeah, right here. Minor harmonic's a good one. But yeah, just go minor. You want to start with your chords. So again, if you know this, I'm just going to go super quick just for the people who don't know it. To build your chord, most of these dark trap songs, 90% of them are just going to start on the root note or the first note of the scale. So D, because we're in D minor. And then to build a chord, you skip every other note in the scale. The reason we did the scale highlighting thing is so you can see what notes are in the scale. All of these grayish notes are notes in the scale. So to build your chord, skip every other one. So skip that, go here, skip that, go here. Now we have a basic D minor chord. Now we're going to repeat that twice. To build a dark progression or just dark sounds in general, you want to take use of your half steps, which are notes right next to each other in the scale like this. See how these two are right next to each other? As opposed to this not being a half step. See how there's a gap in between them here and here. Or right here, there's a half step, two right next to each other. And that gives it a dark feeling if you play these in a row. It sounds like Jaws almost. That's the way that I explain things. So you want to take use of that. So for this first chord, we're going to put this down a half step to really take use of the half step. So E and F. And then that exact chord progression is used in so many songs. So if you just copy that over a bunch of times, and that's your progression. To give it some depth, just copy over the bass notes, put them down 2 octaves for some bass, some low end. And then we added this top melody, which for this, there's really no theory behind it. I just use the same notes I used in the actual chords. And a good thing to do for these top melodies is literally just go up and down the scale. So right here, we got 3 notes going up, then we went back down. And once you have this first like bar, you could really just repeat this the entire way through. Like I could have just repeated that 8 times, but instead what I did, I guess it's like an A, B, A, C pattern. So you got here, this is A, then B is like a slight variation. Then we go back to A, and then C, which is a completely new thing. Which if you understand like rhyme schemes and shit like that, you know like an A, B, A, C is, but that's just kind of my way of explaining it again. So it's all like one idea, but there's variations of that idea throughout. Then at the very end, I just layered these notes, give it some high end. Once you have your first melody, the rest of it's going to come super simple. Next thing, layer the chords in some strings. For these Metro beats and future beats, although like ambient bells sound good, it's also good to incorporate real instruments such as, you know, your pianos, strings, like choirs too, or not always choirs, but you know, I have a choir in this, you'll see. And then even like some stuff like flutes sound good. Next sound, another string. But you can hear it has like that pulsing effect. Unmixed, it actually sounds like this. So it's this plugin right here. Gives it like that pulsing effect. So it's the same chords, but this just gives it some feeling and rhythm. just so it's not the same exact thing a bunch of times. Now the next thing, believe it or not, the exact chords again in strings. Oh, this one's actually a pad, my bad. Now you may be wondering, why am I just copying the same thing a million times? This is because you want to take out sounds like for your verse, like halfway through the beat or wherever. What you're going to do in the arrangement is just kind of take out some of the layers so it's still the same chords playing, but you feel a difference. You don't really hear it, you're going to feel it, and that's going to create some good variation throughout the beat. Because there's not a whole lot of counter melodies and whatnot in these, so just taking use of your chords and putting a bunch of different layers makes it sound good. Another good thing to do in these future beats is to have like reverse stuff. So I didn't actually reverse anything in this, but I have this sound here which is already in reverse. So this is like the lazy man's way of doing it. So you can hear at the end of each 2 bars is like sweeping up because it's in reverse. Final like chord layer is this choir. We have just 1 note sub bass just to fill in the low end. With your loops, I recommend you just fill in every end of the spectrum, low to high. So yeah, just 1 note. And then we have this counter melody just so it's not the exact same thing for 3 minutes. You need some variation. So we have this. It's playing the exact same notes that was in the piano melody except a faster rhythm. And once again, all together, we have this loop. From there, exported the loop, sped it up a couple, and pitched it up 1 semitone. So now we're in D sharp minor. And the drums I laid down are very, very simple. They're basic trap drums. We don't have to reinvent the wheel here. It's a metro beat. So first off, the claps and snares. This is like day 1 FL Studio. If you don't know how to lay this down, then you gotta like go back to the basics or something. So the basic pattern right there. From there, we added the rat kick. I also want to mention the sounds used in this are very just basic mainstream sounds. This is a basic trap beat. You don't got to do the most with these. So here's the kick pattern. And my advice is do less than more. So if you're trying to decide, do I want an extra note here and here or something, it's better to take the less than to do more. So I like to have my stuff spaced out rather than just a bunch of kicks in a row. So there's a lot of space in here, especially around here, around here, around here. And then, maybe towards the end, that's when you add a little bit more. Next thing is going to be the hats. I like to base my hat patterns off of the kicks. So where kicks hit right here or right here, I actually have a hat roll. The way to create a roll is highlight wherever you want. Option U or Alt U if you're on Windows. Brings up this tab and then you kind of just mess around with it. Figure out a length you like or a speed you like. And then another thing you could do, go to this note find pitch and then you could just hold right click, drag down. Here we go again. Basic day 1 FL Studio pattern. Super simple open hats. This is another example of, doing less than more because originally I had it like this, but then I decided I'd rather do less than have it every single time. Final thing for the drums, spins 808. We all know the spins 808. It's in every fucking trap beat ever. And for this, I started by copying over the kick pattern, but I added a few extra things here and there. I think the 808s is where you could be a little bit more aggressive. And I think something else you could do is maybe for the verse or something, you can make a more simplified version of the 808 pattern just so there's not a bunch of rolls throughout the entire thing. But I didn't do that just for the tutorial's sake, just kept everything on repeat. But that's the drums, and you already heard the loop, so now I'm going to show you the arrangement. I had everything drop instantly just because people have short attention spans nowadays, but you could do your normal 8-bar intro if you want. For the hook, this is where I'm taking use of the layers. So we just took out the pad and one of the strings for the first half of the hook. The second half of the hook, everything comes in as well as that counter melody. For the verse, took out the piano. Just really let the let the strings and pads do its thing. And like that is just on repeat for a few minutes. I didn't complicate it. Trap beats are super simple in my opinion. Don't gotta do the most with them. With that being said, that is gonna be this video. Super simple beat. Just wanted to break that down for you guys. I don't do these types of videos often, so if you want to see them more often, comment down below what artist or album I should do next. And thank you guys for watching.